Hey everybody, what's going on? Boy, have we got an exciting podcast for you here today because we are honored to be joined by somebody who, an incredible comedian, and that we have recently found out a big Survivor fan, reality TV fan. Here is Paul Scheer. Paul, how are you?
Rob, I am thrilled. Thank you for giving me the ding of the bell. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm a listener of the pod. I am a fan of Survivor. And I think, it's interesting to talk to you because obviously I'm a fan of
Not
you as
obviously. This is
well.
like news to me.
Oh, well, yeah, no, I'm a fan. I've just been reading your book, which is great. And there's a section at the end that I found to be really interesting, which is like all your tips and tricks on like how to survive on Survivor, right?
Mhm.
They're kind of these little ways of looking at things, thinking about things. And Survivor to me is the scariest show because I feel like I would be medevaced out instantly. Like I feel like on day one, I would think, oh, I could climb that and then just rupture my Achilles. And occasionally we get to see that on the actual
That
show.
does happen. Yeah.
And I look at that and I go, all my want to be there. I know that like, oh, my body would never be running. Like I watch these people duck under big wooden logs. I'm like, I'm knocking myself out instantly. I just know it. I my want to be there, my coordination are not going to line up. But I will say, the closest experience I've ever had to being on Survivor was on Mr. Beast, Celebrity Beast games.
Yes.
Right. So they brought out to me, I think the hardest challenge in Survivor, which is where you just have to hold on to a log. You basically are going to second base with a log and for as long as you can. And
Yeah.
I was thrilled that it was there. But the thing that I realized in this moment, because I've never done a reality competition like this, like a physical competition, is when you're up there, you start thinking a little bit about your legacy. And in the sense of, I was like, oh, I don't want my kids to see me fall off this log. And that oddly gave me a little bit more like time on the log. I was able to, I survived that challenge. But I was wondering about that. Like, does that come into play like at a certain point, or are you just like kind of lulled into you're starving, you're sunburned, you're sore? Like, are you ever like in those moments going like, I have to bring it through, not for the $1 million, but I don't want to become a meme. I don't want to become this person that is, that is just the joke of the franchise.
Wow. This is a tough question. And I like that you've come to me for tips on immunity challenges and how to really persevere through that. So I would say that I think that there is some level of, I don't want to be greatly embarrassed. I personally, when I was in the Amazon, that there was a fish that would swim up your urethra. And I was I had to wear a Speedo, but I did that because I was like, well, I don't want to also be the person who gets medically evacuated for having this parasite swim into my urethra hole. So
yeah, you don't want to have your legs spread on the beach with the medical team there. I mean, it was bad enough in this season 50 where Christian pooped his pants.
yeah.
And it's like, and you don't see it, but sometimes the blur I think is even worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the moments that you want to avoid. And I guess I didn't ever think about that other element of it, just like that the fear of, or urethra, like you don't want anything up your urethra.
No, you don't want that. I mean, I don't want to yuck anybody's yum, but I don't want that.
I would hope that that's not so many people's yums. It seems more painful than most, I would imagine. But who knows? And God bless. And you're right. We should not be doing that.
Yeah. Well, Paul, I'm so honored that you're here, of course, that you have so many different things that people know you from. And of course, you have a book out yourself, which is Joyful Recollections of Trauma.
Yep. It's a comedy book, even though the title sounds like that. I basically believe that we all are forged in the fire of our traumas, whatever they are, right?
100%. Well, that's Survivor.
I mean, right there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's if you listen to my podcast, How Did This Get Made, you know that I tell a lot of stories from my childhood, and this is kind of a more well-rounded picture. But I don't care about that. I want to get into
let's get into it.
Survivor with you because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Tell me about how your Survivor fandom was forged. Have you been a lifelong Survivor fan?
Well, Rob, I'll tell you, this is how I came to Survivor. Day one, I'm a Survivor watcher because it was this idea of television that you would never really seen before. I remember I was in New York City and there was like, have you heard about this show? Yeah, let's watch a show. And, we fell in love with Richard Hatch, Rudy, right? He was season 1, or, like this whole kind of crew. And I really, you have to kind of push people to remember, like, this was never before seen. And and in many respects, the original Survivor was like, this is the end of television. They're eating rats on camera, right? It wasn't like, right now, Survivor is the crown jewel of reality competition television.
That's the irony.
Yes, right? And that was the thing that people forget. But I was such a fan that I even bought the DVD, like the best of DVD at the end of Survivor 1 to live my favorite moments.
I have it right over there. Yeah.
Oh, you see? Yeah, that was like, and it was really, really, it was just a wild show because you felt like you were watching something really special and something different. And I also think it's important, and especially as we get into this, I mean, I know that we have hoarders and we have all these shows that show different types of people, like Gator people and stuff, but there was something really amazing about the playing field of that show. When you look at a guy like, and again, not to go back to Richard Hatch and Rudy, the two people I've already mentioned, but they are, here's an old guy. Here's a guy who doesn't look like he's in that great a shape, and they're shirtless and they're out there and they're competing with the people who look, like they're sporty and ready to go. And I think there was an element that's so pure to, I don't even know what this show is, but I like the idea of it. And it's like people that wanted to compete on it, not to get famous from it, which is you get that in the first season of Real World, which I absolutely love. It's like they don't know what they're in store for. So you almost capture a more genuine picture. I mean, Richard Hatch, for better or for worse, I think created a lot of the gameplay that Survivor is known for, the double crosses and the plannings and all that sort of stuff. And obviously people, jumped on it. And I think that you were, you to me were one of those people that, created this, you kind of made it like a show and you embraced like, oh, I'm like, cause didn't you bring, what did you bring? A magic 8-ball? Did you have a magic 8-ball? So, right. So like you're doing bits on there, which I also feel like you're kind of aware of what it is, but also playing the game as well. I love the evolution of it. But to answer your question, probably first 3 seasons, avid watcher, and then probably dropped off for like 10 years. And it was sort of like, oh, I know Survivor's on. And I think it's like one of those shows where I'm in my early 20s. So it's also like being home. I'm trying to do what I'm doing now. And, I'm out late and it's a long show. And, so you forget to watch. And then about 2 or 3 years ago, we watched it with my kids. And they were like, whoa, what is this? And then my wife went back and she's like, we'll just start from season 1 and we'll move all the way up to like the 40s. And I was like, that's a tall task. I was like, can we just maybe jump around? So I've really watched a lot in the last 2 or 3 years, like kind of meeting these characters that I knew about, Parvati, but I didn't know her season, and I watched probably her second season before I watched her I'm all out of order. I'm watching this thing out of order. So I've been able to avoid some seasons that might be duds, and I've looked at a lot of Reddits and places to find which ones should we be watching. But yeah, we pounded through, I would easily say about 15 seasons in like 2 years.
And your kids were pushing you all to watch the show?
Well, yeah, I can't remember. There was some sort of special season and we're like, oh, this will be a fun show to watch with them. And that was our entry point. And then they're like, I want to watch more of it. Oh, as a matter of fact, I'm sorry, I remember it now. We watched Traitors with them.
Okay.
And then they're like, what else is like this? And I was like, well, the granddaddy of them all is Survivor. And that's how we found it. Yeah. So, kind of going back into it. And so, and then I also wade into the waters of talking to my talking to my friends who are been fans for a long time, who are like, what? You like season 45? That's not the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's like the
This is
new
a new era.
generation. Yeah, it's like in the new era. And so I came in pretty the only thing that I've really suffered through is the bad quality of the video. Because when you go back to season 1, 2, I really through the first 6 years, quality is really bad.
Standard def.
Yeah, standard def. It's rough. It's shocking, but so I've definitely been much more in a Survivor, and our family's been in a Survivor kick. I think the kids like it because what they loved about Traitors was that there were challenges, and my wife and I loved like the lies and the backstabbing and the manipulation. And we're like, oh, well, this is a show that the challenges are way better than Traitors, and you are also going to get that. So it became like a family favorite. And my wife desperately wants to be on the show, and I said to her, I said, you can never go on this show because I've seen my wife without coffee, and it's not a pretty thing. My wife is an amazing person, but if you take away that coffee, it's a different character out there.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
9 and 11. So we probably started watching maybe like at 7 and 10 or 7 and 9. Yeah.
I have 2 boys. They're
Same.
12 and 10. And
Okay,
so
great.
I wish that they were as interested, but I kind of feel like that if this is like what your dad does, it's not as cool.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, it's interesting because it's probably like it felt to them like we were finding it together. I think like our boys are really sporty. So I think that just seeing challenges and seeing people do challenges is exciting to them. Which has also led to us watching a lot of Jackass right now. So we're in a little bit of a Jackass wormhole. But and I explained to them there's differences. I think what I really love about the show is I definitely think it's cast dependent, right? Like when you get a great cast, you can't wait until the next week. And I do think there is an element of the show that even transcends that, because now I think they have enough of a mechanism working where I got to tell you, I'm tuning in to see Jeff, because Jeff is just, I'm in awe of Jeff in the way that he does this thing. Apparently I heard he doesn't have an earwig in, so he's not being fed lines. And it's that the act of what he is doing is like mind-boggling to me. When you look at a world in which people are attached to teleprompters, people are feeding things into their ear, like he is calling that game live, and he's got the spice. He's not as spicy as when it was like I hate being here, Jeff, but he's got like this energy to him. I actually put Jeff in a show. Adam Scott and I made this show called The Greatest Event. Yes, and so and he's so funny and such a good guy, but he also feels like a father figure to you all. Like you guys got in that fight on the beach, like, right? Like it's like, he's listening to this podcast and he's taking his accounts, with everybody. Like, so you got to deal with that. It's funny the way that he is this grandfather figure. And I've said this a million times until somebody listens, where Jeff says, yes, get Jeff on Traitors. I want to see Jeff play a game.
I don't
think
think that's too likely to happen. I think that Jeff is very comfortable in the role that he's in, and especially to go on another show. I don't think that that's it was
a big leap for him to go on Mr. Beast, and I feel like watching him do it and like watching him give Mr. Beast notes, and then also I think you just realize how good he is and how small, like not small, but he's not yelling all the time. He's just he's creating commentary that's interesting and fun. It really is. I am very, very impressed by that part of it. So I will always tune in for seeing what Jeff is up to.
Was that a thrill for your kids to participate in the Celebrity Beast games?
So I didn't even know I could bring them there. And when they called me, that's another big family watch, right? We watched Beast, Mr. Beast. And so I was going to do it. And I thought it'd be so fun if my kids would just turn on Mr. Beast one day, and then I would be on it. I was like, look. But
You didn't tell
unfortunately,
them.
I did not tell them. But unfortunately, we have a shared family calendar.
Yeah.
And then my son was like, "What's Mr. Beast games?" And I was like, "Oh." But Jimmy was very nice, and he let me bring my youngest son to set, and they treated him really, really well. And Jeff was supposed to be there for that event, but he could not make it that day. So it would have been fun to actually do the Survivor Challenge with him in the room.
Yeah. Okay, Paul, tell me some of your favorite players, whether or not they're on season 50.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, I got to say, I think season 50 is perfectly cast, right? There's something about this cast, and I know it's the fans choose, and I think they chose right. Like it's, there's certain people I don't ever need to see again, right? Who's the guy with the fedora? That was on like 5 seasons in like 4
Russell?
years. Russell. I got it. I'm full of Russell. I got it. So the only guy that I would love to see on the show that I thought was such a great presence, but I think he claims to be too injured by the show is Joe. Right, that's the cop who was like spying on people. Joe, like that. Was it that guy, the New York City cop, or
Tony?
Tony. Sorry,
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I told Rob before the show. I said, Rob,
that's okay.
I watch a show a lot, and I'm going to be terrible at names. And it's because I'm watching too many shows with 16 contestants. It's hard to keep track.
Yeah,
but I think what is interesting about Survivor versus other shows, and I'm going to compare it to Traitors at this one moment, is Traitors, they penalize you for being interesting. Like if you're too interesting, you get out.
Oh,
and
believe me, I know how this goes.
And that's a bummer because you want to go. You don't want to just go with what is it, a bunch of not goats. What do they call them on Survivor? The lamb?
Goats.
Yeah, goats. Yeah, like you want to follow them through. Like you want to follow the interesting people through. I'm crushed that Q is out because Q has just the right amount of crazy that is fun for the show. And I feel like anybody who can keep people off balance, I think Christian's like that as well. Like I like the Caroline, I like people that are the show doesn't even know what they're doing. Like, and that to me makes it really fun. And, even the way that Mike White played his first game on the show, and comparatively now he's different because now he's famous. And back then, like, I feel like he was kind of curbing his fame. Like he was, leaning into the people who knew him from School of Rock.
He certainly had a lot of accomplishments at that time.
But people didn't know. And it was nice because he was able to keep it. But then there's like those seasons where, it's like you got the guy from the Portland Trailblazers. Like, we got to get him out because he doesn't deserve $1 million. And like, I hate that. I'm like, oh no, that's like, I like the anonymity. I like the idea that you don't know. And when people are hiding their professions, like Tony, who was like, I'm not going to tell anyone I'm a cop. I love those like little tricks. And, and then I think which makes Parvati so interesting because she's like, oh, we know she's dangerous. And then how is she going to play under the guise of like, that I'm coming after you. So I love that kind of chance to, not redeem, but play in a different way. I think Coach is too obsessed right now with trying to break something. I don't know. And there's like, it's interesting to watch everybody's gameplay. And what I really, what I'm always kind of amazed at though is, and you say it in your book, never say tonight I'm totally safe, because when you get booted out, they will play that. And and I know you've talked about this here before, but does it, like, when you watch it, do you feel like you can watch a show and be like, oh, that's mixed and matched? Like, I know now in Survivor, if they're leading towards somebody as they go to tribal council, that person is not going to be out. Like, I can kind of get a sense of it. Like, I'm like, okay, I can start to game it a little bit. I know they try to sneak you around things as well, like because they want you to feel that same kind of blindside. But are you like, can you watch it and feel like you are? Do you see the editing too much? Is that like, because now you've watched so many, you've been there, how the how the sauce is.
So I think that you can really see the editing when you were there, and certainly like I have that with the Traitors. Like, okay, well that happened before that day, and so I don't think it's necessarily so transparent when you weren't actually there. But I think there's little things you could look at where it's like, okay, well, this person's wearing a different clothes than when they were in the last scene. And so things are sort of coming together. But I do think they do a really good job where that it is hard to tell
Mm-hmm.
where the seams are on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, and they're not like it's not like, and when I say editing, it's like I'm not saying, oh, the show is by the way, it is scripted to a certain degree, and like they're creating momentum in the hour, right? It's
Mhm.
everything that's happening, but they have to put things in different orders to create a fulfilling ending. It's not
Right.
about like they're cheating you, they are trying to, I think, make you guess. I think that's the fun of the show, because you're watching like, how would I do this? What would I do? And although they tell you all the time, it seems so much easier from at home, which is something I know from playing on Wheel of Fortune. Way easier at home than when you're on Wheel of Fortune staring at blank letters on the screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's tricky. But I'm always impressed with the way that they do it and how you kind of follow those little story points.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's 24 different people's stories in the season, and then the show is going to pick like one version of events and to be the official version of events, and they're
Right.
putting everything together. And then also sometimes they have to simplify it, where it's like, okay, well, this whole like side quest is way too complicated. So what does it look like if we take that out of the mix? So they really have to like just keep like getting it down to like fit in the amount of time that they have. So it's not an easy feat that they have to do every week.
No, and
make it interesting.
And make it interesting. And I feel like that's the thing that I'm just constantly, I think like what right now, what's really fun about 50, and I don't know what the public consensus is.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it from the point of view of being like, I really like these players. I think they are aware enough of the game, but they're not like fans, because sometimes we get into that issue where it's like, oh, you're just a fan of Survivor. I don't know if you're a great Survivor player. It's like they're just so psyched to be there.
Yeah.
These characters, I feel like, are, and I call them characters, they're playing the game really well and smart. And I feel like I've watched a quicker amount of strategy playing out that doesn't seem like aggressive strategies. Sometimes it's like, we're an alliance right from the day one, but it's like these characters are they're really smart. And I just feel like, oh, wow. And I've seen, obviously you've seen seasons where people come back, but this one feels different. I think it's a balanced thing. I mean, maybe it's like heroes and villains is different than, because it's like, oh, we're playing into some sort of archetype already. But I feel like here it's like, they're all interesting players. And I feel like that's why the fans got it right. And the fans are cool because they really are giving them weird things. It's like, let's start y'all out with food. I don't understand that. And the other thing I'm really mad at, the one thing I want, maybe you can help me with this. Maybe you've already talked about it. Why do I always thought the best seasons were when you jumped off a boat. I liked the boat part of the game.
When they get marooned.
Yes. That's what I want. Or push everybody out of an airplane. Like, let's do it. Yeah. Grab what you could get and swim to that island. Like that, those moments to me were like, I was like, yes, that, like, because it just gives you one other level. I want boxes on the beach. I want them to, and I want you to be like, what did you grab? What did you have? What's in this box? Is it a bunch of Rubik's cubes? Great, you got that. How can you use it? Like, I'm down for. I feel like that's the one thing I would like more from the show, is a little bit more of those. I love like Man versus Wild, where they kind of all go alone in the wilderness, or alone is the one I like. And they get to bring their own little things. I know everyone's got their safety item, but the safety item doesn't ever come into play that much.
Well, they don't really do it anymore. They used to have the luxury item way back when, but they kind of like, when they start taking away all these other things, they said, okay, why do they even get an item?
I like an item. I like that. Like, I feel like that's because that's kind of like the idea, right? You're marooned on this island with what you have. And I guess like the idea is like, well, you have nothing. You crash and you literally have nothing. All right, that's fine. But I just love the mad dash of everyone ripping everything off the boats, and there's chickens and people are flying into the water. Yeah. There was something fun about that just made it feel like we're on an adventure, from moment one.
Yeah. I'm not sure the reason why they haven't done that in a while. I feel like that they tend to be like kind of like looking to do repeatable things, and that they seem to start the same way every season in the new era. I know one of the issues was that Sia used to give out a prize to people, and Sia didn't like it when they threw the chickens off of the boat. But other than that, I don't really know why, other than maybe it's a little less controlled, where they have like 200 people like filming this and all these camera angles, where maybe they feel like on the boat in the middle. They don't get as much coverage. I don't really
Yeah.
have like Jeff hasn't given a good reason why they don't do a marooning anymore.
I have a feeling that there's probably safety issues as well, as we saw this week when it was a coach who got or was it 2 weeks ago? Coach got the leg cramps.
Yeah.
And and then they send out the medevac boats. Like, oh yeah, we do have boats out there to make sure. That's something I always wondered, and I never knew that there were boats ready to save you right away.
I suspect that was more a boat was there to film them, and that boat that was there to film them just gave him a ride back.
Is that cheating?
I don't think it's cheating. I mean, they don't. We're going to lose coach, so
let him go. Let him go. If you swim that deep, you're off the show. Like it's like that. There was a part of me that was like, I think he should be gone. If you can't make it back to land, you're done. Like, and there was like, and I say that with the utmost love. If you can't come back in,
right?
Why are we like? Then let's do it. Let's call the show the way it should be.
He doesn't have to die, but if he accepts
I don't want him to die.
Back, that's it.
Right. If he got the ride back, it's as good as you're off the show. Like in the show's lore, you're dead. You didn't make it back. And now, because if you had the other version of it, where Jonathan's trying to carry him on his back, then Jonathan's got to make that choice of going, do I save him, potentially kill myself? Because you could go back with two guys who can't. Both need the boat back. You're both off the show. It just adds a little bit more stakes. And I guess what I'll say is, like, if you get injured, that's different. But if you're out there swimming and you can't do it, I'm sorry, you're done. You're with the fishes.
Because it's like the same as if you like were like so hungry, like, hey, I need that cheeseburger. Okay, fine, you have the cheeseburger, but then you're out of the game.
Yeah. Well, okay. This is the thing that I was obsessed about. And this is something that they don't really do anymore. I mean, obviously they have like the Applebee's, the best Applebee's commercials are always, by Jeff. But back in the day, the things that I loved were when people would get wasted. When people would get wasted, it's like, no, this is a terrible idea. Like your body hasn't, everyone's drinking beers. I can't remember what season that was. Like they were on a boat full of beers. And it's like, and that's the part of the show that I also want to see. Like, I don't care that much about the Ponderosa. I do want to see, we are just in diarrhea zone nonstop. Like, I want to see the pain of that. Like, there's a thought, and maybe I'm wrong on this. Everyone who goes to Applebee's is just vomiting like 2 hours later, right? I mean, your body cannot take.
Is it in real life or?
Yeah, in real life. Right? Well, not in real life. We love Applebee's, but I'm just saying. But like, I'm sure that's a reason why they don't.
We're eating good in the neighborhood.
But yeah, you can't be eating baby back ribs after nothing, and your body is like, no. This isn't. It doesn't go down the same way.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think they overindulge sometimes. I think that's where they get themselves into trouble. But I'm thinking back to the alcohol, and I'm just trying to think about like. A lot of things with Survivor, we're a little bit like the frog in the boiling water of like that. We don't necessarily notice that something has changed. And I'm trying to think of how much alcohol they've gotten in the new era. And
they normally get a margarita or wine.
Yeah, we do get a margarita. And I feel like that we tend to get like, they've sort of like classed up Survivor, where sometimes that we have like, they serve wine at the sanctuary.
Yeah.
Where good things happen. But it's rare with that. You don't really get a lot of beers. And certainly no more hard liquor.
Yeah, and I feel like it's one, like you get it when they do the food auction, sometimes beer, like an ice cold beer. And that's another question I have. Okay. I don't know how long it takes. I can tell you that the thing I shot for Mr. Beast took a very long time, for 41 minutes. So I'm looking at that and I'm going, I know it takes a long time. I know that auction's taking a long time. Are those nachos, are they cold nachos? Like, I want to know, like, cause it's like, oh yeah, I just spent all my money to get wings, but are they going to be like, have they been under that table for that long?
So that I have not been out there in a minute. We did have an auction way back when, but from what I've read, Jeff says they do like keep everything very like hot and fresh, and so it's coming out like really.
I don't believe it. I feel like by the time they get it out there, I feel like they're cooking it in some place. And look, I'm an actor. I eat crew food all the time. The minute you bring that thing 5 minutes away from where you are, it's cold. It's done. It's like, unless they should have a chef there cooking it. Oh, but I mean, and those are the moments too, when you watch somebody eat an eyeball and you're like, oh, and then that's
the kids love that.
Yeah,
that's a big hit.
No, but like, you're right. I'm thinking about those things. Like, what are those little moments, because it's a constant evolution of what's changing. I will say at this point in season 50, I'm not loving that we got to say Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol. I don't like it being sponsored. I don't like, and I love Billie Eilish. That's great, but it's a little too weird to keep on saying the Bill, because it's also like I don't even view Billie Eilish as like an ultimate like it's like I don't know who I would view as an ultimate Survivor fan, but I don't like it as like it's like, oh, the Billie Eilish Boomerang. Come on, what are we doing?
Paul, as a celebrity Survivor superfan, are you upset that you were not contacted to contribute any advantages to Survivor 50?
You know, I've talked about it
yet.
Yeah, no, I've talked about some things on the podcast. Obviously, on my podcast, it's in passing because you know there are issues that I have. But no, I feel out of every show, they don't need my help. They don't need it at all. They've got it figured out. You know, I'm always suckered in. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I won't like it, and then I'm brought in. So I trust it. I always look forward to the marble or whatever it is where you have to have the end game where it's like going down those like, you know, those ramps and you got to catch one and put the next one in. I'm like, oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Okay. If you could make an advantage, much like when they went to Billie Eilish and said, Billie, give us your ideas for advantages. What kind of advantage would you make?
This is a good question.
And then you'd have to write a note also of like, hey, it's Paul Scheer.
Yeah, I would like, I'm coming up as a video game person. I like opening up loot crates. I want there to be something fun in there. Like, I would love to be like, in addition to the idols, you're walking around and you find a pair of amazing like Nikes.
Wow.
And you're like, okay, but guess what size they are? They're size 9. I'm size 12. I can't wear them. But then you have the advantage of going, I got size 9 Nikes. I can now use that to bribe somebody. Like, hey, I'm going to give you these Nikes. Like, but like to like replenish them or kind of goose it. It's not a cheat. It's not like it's not a backstab, but it would be an advantage. If you have a nice pair of dry sneakers, great. Like if you can find, you know, like I want the jungle to be full of the plane crashed. Here's some items that you might find. I would go nuts for little things like that. I think that it would just make it like that's the one issue that I have with the show is like I want to feel more like it's you're harvesting land, because right now we know what happens.
Yeah,
you go there, you form the camp. Everyone complains you're not working too hard. You're working. I'm doing all the work. You're bossing me around. I'm not. The build is now a part of the thing, but that's why I really loved the addition of the fire making in the finale, like in the two runner ups go out. I love that. I'm like, yes, that's what you want. Like, I want to see people have to like go head to head on. It's always so fulfilling. It's like, it's so challenging. It's like, oh, you're living off the land. This is cool.
So, okay, that's so interesting because now a lot of the super fans, they really don't like that. They really feel like that's not part of the pure game of voting people out. And especially the way, and it's part of the show this season because Chrissy, who was the first person to have that sprung on her, kind of feels like, hey, this wasn't right that you didn't even tell us at the start of the season. And so a lot of the super fans are like, that's one of their least favorite things. But I do understand that, you know, I feel like that the survival elements are important to people who come in and are watching the show.
Well, I think maybe that's my issue with it, is because it is Survivor, right? And but it really does not lean that much on surviving. It's more about playing the games, you know, outwit, outlast,
outwit, outplay, outlast.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, so I got the hat. And by we all have buffs in this family. But I get that, like, but I think that those are the elements that I feel like are also interesting. And I understand, like, oh, well, aren't you a great player if you have somebody else always starting the fire for you? Or aren't you a great player? You know, but then you could just work that in. Just be like, okay, you have the fire challenge. You can pick anyone here to make the fire. Or you could like, I just want to see I guess I like seeing elements of the survival thing, because the games are the games, and the games are great, and the games will be fun. I could go probably, if I never saw ball on table again, I'm fine with that. Like
Yeah.
ball on table is fine. I mean, it's a staple. There's certain things that it's sort of like we're going to mom's house for Thanksgiving.
Now, is that like a table maze, or you sort of like
the table
balance
maze.
the ball and don't
Table,
don't let it fall?
table maze. I'm like, I got it. All right.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I know that the games makers are very adamant about, but there are certain ones I don't look forward to, but the ones like the game that I love, and again, I'm talking about, I like survival elements, but this is so not that, is like when they have to like stack the plates and then walk back, like you got to balance and you got to keep on walking before the balance goes off. It's like, it's sometimes towards the end, you know what I'm talking about? Maybe it's like, I'm maybe describing it wrong. It's like you have to keep this like both sides. Now I don't know if I'm explaining it the right way, but you basically are balancing something on one side, but if you let go of the tension, it all falls down. It's like they've played it a handful of times, but now and this is where I get.
Is it like a house of cards? Like
it's kind of like a house of cards, but it's a bunch of bricks or something like that. That's some sort of stacking bricks or.
Yeah, is it the one where you have to like pull the rope?
Yes, the pull the rope one. Yes.
I don't know what that's called. We don't really have good names for all these things.
Right, and I appreciate that they don't. Like I appreciate that Jeff is like, now you're entering in the gauntlet. Like, nope, we don't have names. It's just
not like The Price is Right, where it's like, today we're playing Lucky 7. Everybody knows how this works.
But to your point, I wonder, and you could tell me, and this is, I'm sure now fans are now even mad at me for my own opinions on this, but I will say this: what I love is before the food challenge, when they go, oh, there's a bunch of money hidden in the jungle. Go find
the auction. Yeah.
The auction. Sorry. Yeah. The auction. Like, and that kind of freneticness is so fun to me. Like, even like, I think 2 seasons ago where they had like the race around the island to start the game and everyone was kind of like, you were doing, like, I like some more longer play endurance games or like some more sneaky games. I'm always enjoying that. Like, building, I mean, one of the best inventions of all time in this game, I thought, was like the paint, not the paintball, but when they put basically like paint dust in a vase, and when you cut it down, it explodes all over you. So then you are covered. It's like, oh, it's harder to lie. It just makes it a little bit more. I like that's the kind of stuff that I feel like, because it puts people on a back foot, because some people are born good liars. Some people are born as a great player. And I think you would agree that it not always, the best person doesn't always win. And it's like, oh, they manipulated it, or there's like there's a story attached to it. It's like, well, we can't give it to that person, because like Mike White, I feel like essentially lost because it was like, well, he's a celebrity, right? Like, he's a celebrity, so we're not going to give it to Mike.
Yeah. So the backstory on that is that I think that they would have given it to Mike White, but I believe this is the story, that Mike White felt like the story of the season was, and Mike White, a storyteller, the season was David versus Goliath. And Mike White's like, here I am. I'm in the end of the game. Like, I'm a well-off person.
Right.
Who's like a known quantity. And here I am against this guy who's like a David, who is coming from, Kentucky, who, had, a very humble background. How is this the show? The show is called David versus Goliath, and Goliath's going to win. And I think that Mike White was a little bit like twisted up going into the final tribal council. Like, is this going to ruin the show if I win? Are people going to not like this if I'm the winner?
Well, it's tricky, right? Because he definitely didn't make the best argument. And I feel like he kind of like self-eliminated. But look, here's what I'll say. At any given point, when I was on Nailed It, they asked me to be a judge. And I said I didn't want to be a judge. I wanted to be a contestant, because I wanted to see how it felt to be on the other side.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm competing against people who the money meant a big deal, right? It is a big deal. And not to say it's not for me, I'm just saying, but it was, and so I said to him, I was like, put me on the show. And if I win, I will give my money to somebody else. And and they knew that, like, under the radar. And I was like, and that would be the way to go and do it. Just give it to somebody else. Like, who cares? But have the victory. Take, have you be, like, can you beat this person? I think we should have more people giving away the $1 million.
And Mike White could have wanted to win, and then I'm going to give the $1 million to whatever,
Yeah,
Although people
100%.
didn't love that when Gabler did it, but
I know,
they would
yeah,
have liked
yeah.
it more. They would have liked it more if Mike White did it.
I think
Did
Mike
you
White
have a
would have,
winner?
yeah. Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
Paul, did you have a winner pick coming into this season?
I normally play a Survivor pool with
A fantasy league?
a fantasy league, if you will. There's like a special website that we got everybody involved in, and you pick your favorites. I This season was too hard. We didn't do it this season.
Yeah.
Because what I love about the pool, for the most part, is you don't know any of them, and you're really just looking at them and going, "What do I think?" Or I'm watching not the casting videos, but their intro videos. I'm like, "What do I think?" This one, it can really go any direction because I was shocked at how I'm forget like. The first person who was kicked out was like the person who was on the first Survivor, second Survivor.
Jenna.
I forget.
Yeah.
Jenna. I was like, I would never have picked her going out first. By the way, that's always the tricky one. The going out first is a hard. I was so upset that John Lovett, when he was on, went out first. It was such a bummer, but that was ageism. They were like, this old guy, like they didn't even really know what he was from. And I was like, oh, he's old. I'm like, then I'm definitely old. But they were like, he got out quick. Sorry, I got lost in the question in saying what now I
the
forgot.
Winner
So
pick.
I don't have one. I can, because I just think it could go any. This is going to be a wild season because I do think you're playing with, dare I say, some of the collectively, this might be the smartest season. Is that a fair assessment?
I think that's very fair because I think that these people are so well seasoned, and you have so many people who are coming back again and again, and even like the people from the new era are all super fans who are like like live and breathe the show before they were even on it.
Well, let me ask you about this.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever stumped for, or is this in the dark ages of Survivor, the early 2000s, where people want the duel back? I thought the duel was a fun, like, again, these are I like some of the gamier
tell me,
things.
what's the duel like when they would do sort of like a pillow fight on the
well, they were like, weren't they sent, maybe I'm misremembering, but like, weren't they sent to like a vacant island, and then there was like, then you had to fight another contestant.
Okay, Redemption Island.
Yes, Redemption Island. I like Redemption Island.
Redemption Island is you get voted out and then you have a chance to get back into the game. And then they did it a couple seasons. People didn't really love it. I think the biggest issue was that somebody would come back right at the end of the game, which is personally like, I don't mind if they did it in the pre-merge, but I think it was actually Mike White who told Jeff not to do Redemption Island again. That Mike White, before he was even a Survivor contestant, used to like really have Jeff Probst's ear. And so then they didn't do Redemption Island for when they did the Blood versus Water season, but then they did do the Edge of Extinction. And that was, then everybody was it wasn't a duel, just they all went and lived in like purgatory.
And I guess you're right. Like, I feel like a large part of this game is getting the right people off at the right time, right? I mean, that's really what it is, and being strategic about that. And it does mess up your game. That I can see as something that really messes up your gameplay, because like, oh no, that's not fair. But then is it fair to kick somebody off who's strong, who gets booted off? It's like, and I do. And the other thing, if I could give a note to Jeff, and I don't know if he's listening, but my note would be, let's take that testimonial that you slam at the end of the episode and pop that up for right when they walk off. I want to hear those reactions. I want final words. I feel like I like that about Traitors. I like that they can say a goodbye. I think that the characters on Survivor are more interesting and well-spoken, and they could really mess up the game. And that's even when you see the moment, like, can I have your jacket? Can I have your jacket? And then she just ignores her. Like, I want that. I want a little like the awkward goodbyes. Even like when Q went off, he's like, was it you? Great. The rest of us, we're cool.
A lot of times, I think they're mad. I think they're like, all right, I'm not talking to you. Talk to the hand. I'm leaving.
Right.
But then, so you would like that moment of like the telling the faithful, like stand in the circle of truth, and then tell everybody off.
To like dress everybody down. Yeah, because it's like, because inevitably you get some of those that energy out at the end when people are like, and I just want to say, like, when people come in at the
Yeah.
end, when they become the jury, the energy that they come in with is loaded. And I wonder if it makes the jury better because you have held on to it for such a long time,
Yeah.
or if you could get it out there. Because if you could, not without messing up somebody's game, like, I think you shouldn't be allowed to be like, we're actually in an alliance and you didn't know. I think that would be cheating.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think you could throw some arrows at people or
Should
mess
Jeff
it up a little
say,
bit.
like, hey, Paul, before you go, before I snuff your torch, is there anything you want to say to the group?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that I do, because it's like you are like, there is
I'm
a
open to
moment
that.
there, right? Because it's like, why not? Like, why not just give it a moment to, especially on a season like this? I want to see, like, some people are fucked over, and I know that when they really get mad, they're so mad that I have them in my mind. I'm thinking as a producer, and I'm going, they walk off, they're pissed, they cool down a little bit, and then they kind of throw them into that thing, and they go, talk to us. What are you feeling? And you get a little bit more of a, hey, you know what? I went out with a smile. I had a good time. It's all unfair.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I want the anger. I want the immediate, like, no anger towards Jeff, but I do want the, you fucked me over. You promised me. I want a little bit of that so people can go back with their heads a little bit like, oh, wow. And maybe you start second guessing people, because that's been a great little element on Traitors too. Like, what did they say? How did they say it? And it creates, because I do think you need to create a little bit of friction within the group, exterior of what you can control.
Well, I do think that in the new era specifically, I think they've really tried to foster this era of like good sportsmanship, where I think that Jeff had really highlighted the contestants like, you got me. I think they really like that attitude of like, hey, wow, great blindside, everybody. Good work. Okay, I'll see you around. I'll see you when I see you. But I think that the fans really do like what you're talking about and the people that have like given like a negative reaction and give like the evil eye to everybody, that's what the fans actually really want.
Yeah, because you want and I feel like you want that Johnny Fairplay kind of energy. I don't think that everyone needs to be that, right? But I do think that, like, Q is that, again, not going back to Q, but like Q, like the way he was trying to manipulate it and then kind of backfired him. That was a beautiful exit. It was a great, like, perfect survivor out. But like Johnny Fairplay lying about his grandma, revealing on it, like, and having like those, not like the knowledge, because, and I feel like to call somebody out to like just do something. I think the game can have, like, I'm saying like 20% more edge or room for edge, because there aren't as many fights like that. Like, there aren't that, like, you'll have those moments where it's like someone is going like, who's that young kid on this season? I forget his name. But, oh yeah, right, yeah. And like they're like, oh, he's annoying. Yeah, he's annoying. But they very rarely like confront each other about it. And I do miss, that's to me like such a staple part of reality television.
Yes.
And yeah, you get it the when they're talking there, but you never get so heated. And that's what's so great about Traitors too, is like people, they do jump on each other. Like, and look, I'm a very big fan of saying, I know everything good has come from Survivor. And anything that I like from another show is somebody saying, well, Survivor does it like this. What's our spin on a Survivor move? So I hail Survivor as being the end all be all. And I think, look, it is a family show. I think it's a big show to watch with your family. And you probably don't want to show people being total assholes, but it doesn't hurt every now and then either.
Yeah. No, well, I think you're talking about a lot of the things that I've also said, where I think that one of the reasons I think that Traitors does have like, a lot of popularity is that, everything on Survivor, we do it in secret. It's not really a show about confrontation in the way that it once was, where in the way that Traitors is structured at the round table, you have that it's designed for a big public confrontation, and it can get a little messy sometimes, but Survivor seems to want to shy away from that, where it really does try to be so positive, where in the beginning, when people really captured people's hearts and minds, it was a story about what are people willing to do to earn $1 million, and what will you do, like who will you cut, where Survivor in the new era, it's a little bit more of like, well, they were the biggest threat, so I had to get them. It's not like about personal animosity.
Right. It's a game night mentality, which is still fun to watch, but I do think that edge or that sort of that kind of battle internally, because I think where that becomes interesting for the game is it helps, like the more drama you can create, the
Yeah.
better player you have to be to survive the storms of that. Because once people see, oh, you're doing this, and I think that this is why, again, I really like this season. You're watching people course correct. You're like, oh, I came in too hot. I realized in previous seasons I didn't play a social game that was good enough. Now I'm playing it like this. Like people are correcting with in-game and correcting. I mean, and that's always happening when you bring people back, but you are, I don't know. I feel like I feel like to dig yourself out of a hole is also an interesting arc. It's like, oh yeah, people stop liking you. And I think that's why I was kind of mad at Coach. I'm like, stop apologizing for stealing the thing. You did it. You fucking did it. Like, embrace it. Like, yeah, you're the villain. But he's like, no, I'm not playing like that. I'm playing like a hero now. It's like, get out of here. You're playing. It's a game. And that's the thing. And I love that about not Richard. I love that. Well, Richard actually brought that through too. He understood it's a game. We're playing a game. But Rob on the new season of Traitors is like, it's a game. It's a game. Like my job is to do this to you, to lie to you. And whenever I see somebody come on going, I'm coming on here and I'm not lying, I'm playing an honorable game. No, thank you. That's not fun for me. You're missing one of the things on the hat or the buff.
Paul, if you were on this season, who do you think you would align with?
I mean, probably just because I would love to be on White Lotus, Mike White. But I love a lot of these characters. I guess right now, I think I'm definitely going to be I'm probably going to have to lean on my social skills for the most part. And so you don't want to be up against somebody like Mike. You want to kind of be in a camp where there's a little bit more, like, I actually think my play would be to be, now I know they just switched up the tribes. So I'm trying to remember where they all are at right now, but like in the Jonathan Coach world, because it's like, oh, they might see me as, this sacrificial lamb that they can take. Like that would be my plan. It's like the Carolyn plan. Like, it's like you lay low, be friendly, keep it going. We'll see how it pays off for Christian, because I think Christian is playing a very dopey game, but a very manipulative under the like radar game, which I really am enjoying, and I like that a lot. But I think it's like you have to I think you align with the strongest. If your social game is good, you align with the strongest, because they'll keep you around because they don't think you're a threat. That's how I would kind of live in that world.
Did you
not remembering you?
Did you like when Christian and Rick hid the fake idol at Tribal Council?
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was good.
Yes. Like, and again, I it was so funny how much they were comparing it to Ocean's 11. It's Ocean's 11 with one move. But I wonder if that's going to pay off. I hope that it does. I like that level of subverting the game, but playing within the game's parameters. I think that that's the stuff that is really fun for me. And yeah, like I can't wait. And I really, really hope that you see that look when someone sees that. But it's also a dangerous game, because like, are you hoping that they see it and then hold on to it? Or are you hoping they see it in a moment where they feel panicked? I want them to feel panicked. That's what I want, right?
That what they're doing is that I think they hit it there, and I think that they're going to go and grab it. And I think it's going to be sort of like a situation where one of them is going to be in trouble, and then at Tribal Council, then they're going to say like, oh, wait, hold on. And they're like, I got an idol. Newsflash, everybody. Change of plans. I'm not going tonight.
Now, by the time this airs, we don't know what's going to happen. But I did hear a rumor that that the next big thing in here, the next super fan, is Zach Brown, right? That's because they have like. So again, I have never seen Billie Eilish talk publicly. We gotta Get some more. The one thing I would love to go do is like a live reveal, although they don't do that anymore. They really just do it on the
Can I
island
say
now.
something? I don't even know who Zach Brown is.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm a little bit like, guys, these are your, like, we got Adam Scott, huge Survivor fan. Like, by the way, like, put a little coalition together, and we would name it better. We wouldn't name it the Zach Brown, load your pants up idol. I don't know. Like, I don't want to have an Applebee's sponsored. The Staples Center presents this idol.
What about the Adam Scott Severance idol, where there's like two halves, and it's like, oh, this is your innie, and this is your outie.
By the way, you just gave somebody a great idea. They're doing that now by episode 8. Yeah, no, that's I'm like, maybe Jeff needs to meet some more celebrity fans. We got to get them out there. And I feel like it's fun to see. I guess like my question is, and this is probably too much about how the sausage is made. Is Billie Eilish coming up with the boomerang idol? Or are they saying, hey, Billie,
Jeff, I think, just did an interview where he said they showed Billie Eilish a bunch of different idol ideas. And she said, I like the boomerang was what he said.
Got it. So she kind of attached her. It's like if you're a celebrity coming out with like a soda line or something like that, they let you taste it. And you go, that's the cherry Coke I want.
That's my idol.
I guess the question is on this season is, do you think it's a deficit to come in with baggage? Everybody has baggage.
Yeah.
That's what I think that's actually the biggest problem with Traitors is that like when Boston Rob comes in, it's like, well, he's definitely a traitor because he's been on Survivor and no, that's not how it works. It's like, it's not like we can't just like
that was how it worked, but
it did yeah, that did do it. that one did but like it's like I'm so curious about how as you get further and further down how the past will affect these people, and that's the thing that I think is going to make the end not unfair but a roller coaster, because I think that people who are sitting on stuff, people who don't want to make the same mistake again, people who are trying to redeem themselves are going to make wild moves.
Yeah.
And you're going to be, wait, I don't understand that. And it's all about, no. This time I won't do that. Like, I mean, I think we've already hinted at the fact that, what is it? The young guy, is that Charlie?
Charlie, yeah.
Like Charlie's got, we're just touching it.
Yeah.
We don't know yet, but he's got something to prove a little bit. It's there.
But Paul, can I say that I think this is my favorite part about this season, because I think that where we've explored that so many of these people are wounded and like we sort of like know in the ways in which they're broken. I think that Joe has been interesting in this season, where Joe, Kyle, and Camilla got one over on him, and he's like, well, I'm not going to let that happen again. And we sort of like, as opposed to new players, we kind of know that the things that like these are these like wounds that we've seen exposed on television. And so I think it's sort of fun to watch them and sort of like have to navigate these flaws that they have in their, I wouldn't even say flaws is not the right word, but they're just like these very like human wounds that they're dealing with, and how are they trying to operate around them of like, I'm not going to let that happen again.
Yeah, they're playing two games, which is like they're playing a game against themselves and they're playing the game that's in front of them.
Yes.
And that makes them bait. Like I think Q, the elimination of Q was a perfect encapsulation of what I love. And he got out the same exact way. Like it's like you thought he didn't learn. He was like, oh, I'm big brained. I got this. And then it totally bit him in the ass. And so I that's why I feel like I like it, because it's baggage. And I also know it's anyone's game. Yeah. Because at any point, I think the past is affecting the present.
Yeah. All right. So I know you said that your wife would be open to go on Survivor, but I think from what I'm hearing from you is that I'm wondering, would you be open to taking a trip to Scotland and going to the Traitors?
I think I would. I think I would be medevaced out. I think
because I just was there with Ron Funches.
Yes. Well, and that's why I'm thinking back to that, and I'm like, you guys, it's like, and you watch what Ron went through, and that's the thing that's so hard, is you all go through this thing, and I think that, well, in my opinion, as a viewer, it's very like you'll get painted as whatever you are, and it's very hard to kind of like unseat that way that you are painted, who you are by the show. And the majority of people, like, and one of the things I saw that was really upsetting was, oh, well, this guy's a comedian? I don't think so. And it's like, oh, well, don't judge this by that. And it's hard. Like, that's why I loved going on Mr. Beast. It was one day, I got to compete, I had fun, and I like this, like, nailed it one day, I'm in and out, I can control myself for one day. But here's what I'll tell you I would be open to. And this is the idea that to me, the $1 million idea that I have about Survivor. You get a 4 seasons Fiji that is built around Survivor. You go there and you can be in groups and you are going to do all the challenges and you get to basically live out. It's like Survivor Fantasy Camp. Yeah. You have a few Jeffs that are running like daily activities and stuff like that. And I was like, that would be to me what I would love to. I would love to try all these games. I would love to try them all, but I would not want to be on the show competing.
So this to me sounds like, once we get the Warner Paramount merger complete, we now build a White Lotus Fiji.
I mean, by the way, yes. And and like, I mean, because don't you think that would be packed? People would love this. I mean, we would take away the race and class issues of White Lotus and just have it as more of a gameplay.
Somebody doesn't have to die.
Right. Yeah. We don't have to. Well, I mean, it'd be fun if we got one person.
Maybe there's one person and they're like, oh, like maybe it's like they don't even really die, but it's like, okay, somebody's in your group died.
I told you that this. I remember. I didn't tell you because we were just meeting for the first time. My theory is that Universal Studios Hollywood that does like Halloween Horror Nights every year. They transform the park into like a horror themed thing. That once a year they should say, okay, so this is open from September 23rd to November 2nd, and one night someone is going to get killed. Sorry, and then and so the risk is I might be that person, and we won't tell you when it happened. You just don't know. So everyone's like, oh God, what am I doing?
Yeah,
I think it would be so like you were like, oh, I'm not afraid of that chainsaw because there's no chain. But you know what? One night, whether it's September 23rd, one person gonna be kidnapped, be pulled out, and that's the waiver that you sign. It would make those things way more scary.
You're way more scary because you could be the one person.
You could be the one. You don't know.
Yeah. So you go out to the White Lotus Fiji, and then you get to stay at the White Lotus, and then you get to go play in the Survivor challenges, and then you come back.
It would be. I mean, that would be so. Because I think that that's the thing that is so fun.
Yeah.
About the show is like I would love to do this, and the truth is, the chances are so small that you will even get a chance. Like that even the most ardent fan won't get on the show because maybe your personality is crap. And that's okay. You can still play the games. I just feel like that would be such a amazing experience. I don't understand why Survivor has not like built a hotel. You know what? Put it in Orlando. Just like make it simple. Like put it in Orlando. Get it going. Like let's do something. Yeah. I think and I think it would be so much fun.
Yeah, they have like these little cafes that they do, like little pop-ups where you could go play the challenges, like some of the challenges.
Right, some of the challenge. I mean, puzzles, sure, whatever. Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah, not as exciting.
But it's like I want to be jumping off a
obstacle course.
Yeah, I want to get in that net. I want to get all turned around in that net. I want to do the wheelbarrows. I want to, You want to
go in the mud though.
If I was staying at a 4 seasons, yes. Because after the challenge, I'm gonna go shower. I'm gonna be fine, and I'm gonna use the toilet.
Yeah. Now, I also know that you are not just a fan of the regular U.S. Traitors. You watch the international Traitors. You watch all of them. I
do. I believe that the best season of Traitors is Australia. I believe they only did 2 seasons, and the second season of Australia.
And there's a third one that's coming.
Oh, it is
with different hosts. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what I loved about it, and what I really think is and no offense to you, because I'd loved having you on that show. But I think that the biggest problem with Traitors is we know these people. It's what I think that the show is more interesting when it's real people who want
Yeah.
to win that money. And season 2 of Australian Traitors, the most famous person was a guy who was held as a war criminal, like not a war. He was a POW, like he was a prisoner. He was a photographer. That's as famous as you got, and it was like an electrician. And it's like, because it puts everyone on equal playing field, and that's why I don't hate, but there is this thing right now with Traitors where it's like, well, you're a gamer, you're a housewife. It's like, oh. Well, that's not like, we're separating people by what they were. It has nothing. There's no bearing on the show, and I think it actually like creates these like tribes that create an unfair advantage or create these alliances that are not earned. And that to me feels like what I love about this show, Survivor, is that people have to figure that out for themselves, and that to me is way more fulfilling than seeing my favorite whoever on that thing where they can be painted as something that they're not.
Yeah. And I mean, do you watch the UK Traitors?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, yes. That's they don't have the meta, and they're going to do this US civilian season that's not going to have that either. I think
so I'm excited about that. And I love, like, by the way, UK to me is the gold standard. I just think season 2 of Australia is like the best gameplay that is, although rivaled with season 4 of UK, which was very good. They're very good. But I think that there's a desperation that is, to your point, a very interesting part of the game. I need to win this money. I've now left my job. I've done all this sort of stuff. And I think in Australia, it felt like these people were leaving their jobs, where sometimes, you watch these shows and you're like, oh, you are a permanent reality fixture. Like if it wasn't this, it would be that. And if it wasn't that, it would be this. Like, you're good. Right. Like, that's your goal is like, I need to do this. I'm going to get a branding deal, and I'm going to get, it's like, I want a person who's like, I'm a locksmith. I left my job. I may not have a job when I get back. I need $10,000.
I mean, like, even the people that I was on the season 4 of the Traitors, like the people at the end, like you think like Maura Higgins was like, oh, like I really needed that money, like Eric Nam, they don't want to like get embarrassed on TV, but nobody is like, oh, I really need this prize money.
Well, I always find that the money on that show is comical because it's small. It's a smaller amount. And then you're losing half of that to taxes. You're getting it's going very quickly. Like, I feel like Rob buying that Birkin bag for Moira. It's like, well, that's it. There's your money. It's gone. Like, it's like your 100,000, 50. That bag was like 10. So then you have to hope.
She was so happy though to get that.
Yes, she was
bag.
very. Well, that's the other thing too. Like, I love, I loved last season with oh my gosh, she's now like kind of blown up. She dates Robbie Hoffman. She was a Bachelorette contestant. And that's the thing. It's like, I love seeing people like you on there. I love the personalities on there. I just wish that element of the gameplay was eliminated, of just like assuming like the gamer's game and housewives are an alliance. It just feels like it's creating it's creating a fictional thing that actually I think takes away from some of the actual scheming, because it just creates a fake baseline. That's my only point. But did you have fun? I mean, I know you've talked about it, but did you was your time there fun?
Yes, I had the best time. I thought it was so fun and cool. I mean, and I haven't been on a show like that in over 20 years. So it was really a thrill for me to go do it. I know not everybody loves it. And against when it turns into like a really big mind F was probably later on. But
yes.
Yeah, I had.
You had the best version of it. Like, I feel like you were in it. It was fun. And you didn't have to worry about all this stuff. But now, I think
the other Rob had the best version of it. But
well, yes, yeah. But like, and that. Well, here's what I think about that. And I mean, I'd be curious what you think about his gameplay. I think that I've never seen someone play the dumb game as well as he did. Yeah, like his body language, the way that he was like on a couch, spread out, kind of talking off the like. I almost feel like it's brilliant gameplay, but it's like he was playing as a faithful. I think he was method acting faithful.
Mhm.
And I was blown away by it. Now because I think that like even when you watch Christian on Survivor, like there's that great shot where he's talking to, I think it was Ozzy
Joe.
or Joe. Yeah. When he's like
Yeah.
in the, like you could see
In
his
the
face
hammock.
through the
Yeah.
hammock. I was like, this is hilarious. Like, but it's like that smoothness. I mean, did you pick up on that? Like what, like in your dealings, like what were you like? Yeah. Cause you don't know either. Right. I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't know. I thought that he just seemed like, okay, he's a young guy. He was the youngest person in the cast. I just felt like that he didn't even seem like he wanted to be there. He was like eating cookies. He was like, "Hey, can I get another drink over here?" Like,
right.
he just didn't seem like. And again, maybe he in the early days was not really doing that much, and then like really picked it up later on.
No, I
But I
think,
just thought. Like, I'm like, does this guy even care? Like, he's
but
not even
that's what I think
playing nearly as hard as I am.
but that's what I think is so good. Oh, and by the way,
And it was yes, that was incredible that he did that.
no, this is if you're talking about it, what I would add to Traitors, I would also add, and this is a thing that I don't understand at all, and it fucking drives me crazy, which is when you're doing the testimonial at the end, all right?
Yeah.
So you get out, you say, and I am not, and I am a faithful. Great. You go into the room and you talk. Tell me who you think the traitors are. Just
Yeah.
go like, all right, so Rob, who are the traitors?
Yeah,
And you
they
just say
do
it.
that like it's like they put it online, but you're
Okay.
you're right. They can put it a part of the show.
I want it there, and then what I would want them to do to you is say, by the way, and then do they do this too? They say, okay, it is actually Rob, do they tell you who it is, or they do? Oh, so that's all online.
Yeah,
Man, I
it's
gotta
online.
get.
It's there's probably better ways to use that segment, but
Yeah, because I'm like, that to me is like all I want to see is the people who kicked, like there are people who are kicked out's reactions to, oh,
mhm.
well, I got to get online. I'm not sure this internet's going to take off, so I'm not sure. I haven't really gotten into online stuff yet.
Mhm. Yeah, they do a lot of it for social media content.
Okay, so all right,
Yeah.
see, so that you've helped open up a whole world to me.
Yeah. So, Paul,
Yes.
is there anything else that's on your mind with the Survivor, the Traitors, any other reality TV?
I'm a big Summer House fan. There's been a lot of drama in Summer House, but that's that is to me my Bravo show is Summer House. I like the Housewives.
See, if you go to the Traitors, you might know all this stuff.
Oh, I would love it. I would love to get on there and see. I've talked to them. I like them. I've gone on Watch What Happens Live. I love Andy Cohen. I do think though the worst part of me would come out on these shows, and I imagine when you went on Traitors, there's a part of you that obviously you're a super funny, talented guy. You haven't gone on a show in a long time, but you've been watching a lot of these shows.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, are you more aware of how you are and like, because you're not going to fall for the tricks, or right? Like, I mean, not that they're tricks, but you have to like, are you wearing a mask at all times? I guess is my question.
Yeah, that's such a good question. I think that my biggest problem was that I think I just like was like I thought that I would when I got there I was gonna know everything, and I think I was a little most worried about like, well, I don't want to look stupid, because I think that for what I do, if I come off and I look dumb, it's going to be really bad, and everybody's going to be like, oh, the know-it-all knows nothing. And so I think that was really what was, and so I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I think that like what was the best things about Rob was I don't think he really cared that much. Like, not to say that he wasn't trying, but I think at the end of the day, like he wanted to win, but I don't think it like his identity was wrapped up in, I have to win.
Right. I agree. I feel like, I think that the key of that game, which is not interesting to watch, and it's the reason why you always have like the stuffy British professor exists for a long time, because like you're boring, bro. Like no one cares. Like you're not moving the needle. We know it's not you. You're not famous enough to be like And it's like, but it's like I think he locked into that to exactly what you're saying. He's like, let me get drunk. Let me have some more cookies. Let's go. Can I ask you
anything?
Yeah. No, because there's like to me, I think one of the things that I really love about Survivor is that it's a constant mechanism that is adjusting to fans, to what worked. I think that Jeff is incredibly smart to listen to people and try something. And that to me is something we just don't get to see. And I guess when you get to a season 50 of a show, which is crazy, it does allow you this confidence. Like, we're not going anywhere. We're not like it, but in your mind, as somebody who has now written the book on it, I would say the definitive book on it, do you believe that is a good, like, it's never finished? Like, Survivor is never finished, because I think what you are always doing is you're alienating some fans and you are engaging others. And I've talked to so many people who have so many strong new era versus old era and what they want and what they need. It needs to be longer. We need less twists. We want that. It's like, I guess I guess it's a question, but also, like, do you agree with this? I think part of the game of Survivor is that Jeff Probst and co are outwitting us. Like, the anger makes you want to tune in, right? It's almost like we are a permanent member of Survivor Island. And I do think that, like, tweaking things and maybe, like, we don't know if this works. Or maybe this does work. Yes, they're experimenting, but it also is a way to keep us, like, on the hook. Like, you can't get ahead of the show because they keep on trying to not subvert it, but like, they like, do you think that that's a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, I feel like we're pawn. I guess what I'm saying is, do you believe that the fans are also pawns?
So I don't think that the fans are pawns. I actually wish that they would do some more, like, I don't know if experimenting is the right word, but it used to be in the early days that they would play with the format more in some ways, where it's like, okay, this season is 2 tribes, this season is 3 tribes, here's this theme.
Right.
Whereas I feel like that there's a lot of, like, random things that happen, but I feel like that they've really sort of, like, landed on, okay, this is the show now. It's 3 tribes, and then there's going to be journeys, and then people are going to lose their votes, and this is what it is. And I think that we would like there to be more hooks into getting people to tune in. Of this season is going to be blah 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 versus blah blah blah. This season, street smarts versus
I love that. I mean, because it's fun. It's like, and I also think that brings in an audience too. I mean, Mr. Beast basically not stole it. And like I said, everybody is borrowing from Survivor, but they did strength versus, smarts versus strength, which,
and they didn't really do a lot with it. They just sort of like, okay, this is what you're divided. I think Survivor could do a lot more with that.
By the way, yes, and we're big Mr. Beast fans over here too, and watching that show, and which is an interesting one as well. But like, I like at least wrapping my head around and going, oh, you're a smarty, you're a strongy, and it's like, it is. I think that is kind of cool. I think
it's up to the players really to push the evolution of the game. For, like, I think that Survivor should come up with, like, fun ways to get the viewers more engaged, but I think it's really on the players to sort of, like, push the direction of where the game is going.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe this is why this season has been so fun for me, because I feel like you have very passionate players who are trying to, again, work within the framework and structure. They're not trying to break it, but they're like, oh, what if I did this? What if we could do that? And that, to me, feels like it's the right style of play, which I think sometimes is hard when we were talking earlier about, like, the fans, because the fans are just excited to be there. But you kind of want somebody who's like, I want this game to run around me. And it's like, and every now and then you'll get a player who can really play it, but it's like, it's fun when everyone is kind of on that same page.
Yeah. And they've resisted bringing players back for a while. This is the first season with the returning players since season 40. And we're not spending these first couple episodes getting to know these players, where a lot of
hardly
times
any flashbacks. Or anything.
Where it takes us sometimes until after the merge until we really have a sense of, like, who's this person? And so we've been able to just sort of, like, jump right in. And so I think that that's made it really fun too.
I like it. I feel like we, look, I'm curious.
I'm going to keep watching. I don't know about you.
Oh, I mean, look, I'm in. I'm ready to go. And it's, and to me, it's just, I think we got a lot of surprises. It sounds so silly to say, but I mean, I feel like they're pulling out all the stops, and I think you're right. Like, there's an energy about this season. I felt like 40 had an element of that, but this season does feel like it's a victory lap in a really good way. It's like, oh, maybe if you haven't watched in a couple seasons, check out what we got going on here. We got some stuff. Zach Brown is involved. And everyone's like,
Zach
wait
Brown's
a second.
involved.
Zach Brown's involved?
I'm in. What should they do for Survivor 51, Paul?
Back to basics. What you do is, I think for Survivor 50, what you do is you say, hey, everybody, we have a brand new show. It's called, it's called Housewives and Hot Husbands. And it's just about people living, wealthy people living. And you have everybody submit, they pick them. And they go, great, you're going to be on Housewives and Hot Husbands. We're putting in this beautiful mansion. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, where are we going? We're going to Fiji. And then you blindfold them, you drop them on the beach and go, play Survivor. I think people not knowing the game would be a brilliant entry point. Yeah, it would be so fun.
So are the housewives married to the hot husbands?
I don't know. Like at any point, I think what I want is just people. By the way, that would be great. Husbands versus wives. I mean, we had the mother-daughter, right? But that kind of is really fun too. Yeah. Didn't they do a men versus women season 2?
That was my first season with men versus women.
Oh, right. Yes. Oh my gosh.
So this is one idea that I've had. And of course, like on the Traitors UK, they do this all the time. They have like secret pairs. Would you think it was unfair if we have say 2 tribes and there's like a husband and a wife are secretly playing the game?
Yes. I love that. I mean, I like the friendships. I like those elements. I mean, what made it so fun? I mean, I know it's happened a handful of times, but when love relationships pop up, it's so fun. Yeah. Because it's like, it's a really funny energy of, we shouldn't be doing this. Oh no, it's wrecking our game. Are we being subtle enough? It's like, I love that. But I think going in secretly is really interesting. Or is this too much out of the game? You put in a plant. Maybe there's a planted person. Like, so they look like they're a regular person, but they are working for Jeff.
Yes.
That's our secret spy. That I haven't figured out yet. We're in the brainstorming, but I feel like it's like, it would be interesting to, I think, stir up stuff or be like, it's like, and if they get them out, maybe if they get them out before the merge, they get the prize, or like, can you sniff out this person who is there to clearly mess up your stuff? I don't know. I got to think more on this because it just came to me right there. But I like the idea of I like just more secrets. I think that's, to me, and maybe what I'm getting at is, I like when the show has a little bit more tension, has a little bit more stakes, in the sense that they're not just happy to be there. They want to win. They don't know everything. They don't have this relationship with Jeff. They are truly, and I think that Jeff likes it. And I think it's nice. It's like, oh, I've been watching since I'm 5 years old and now I finally play. Great, fine. But let's bring that hot husband on there who has no idea. He's not been working out for months.
You need a mix of some people, because everybody is, and sometimes they talk about the show and they'll talk about it it's just it's kind of like a work retreat where everybody is like very excited to be there and very positive, and everybody just goes on and on how much they love Survivor. But it's also fun to have some people there who it's sort of like you have to work around.
To be like, hold on, Jeff, what do you mean? Wait, what is that idol? What is that? It's an immunity idol. Wait, hold on, what?
Yeah.
I would love it. By the way, did you like Please Help Me? Did you see it?
Oh, Send Help?
Yeah, Send Help. Sorry, yes. Sorry, yeah. Send Help.
So I have to. So I didn't see it. I wasn't invited to any of the screenings.
Okay, so I will say this. I will just say this. No, and I can pick up and just say, I think I think part of the fun is fish out of water. And what we were talking about with the early seasons is like the game was evolving. People were figuring it out. And at this point, they understand the game and they understand what they're doing. Oh, that's the other thing I really want. Sorry, you've incited a couple things.
Yeah.
You're
cooking.
I want season 51 should be legit survivalists.
Okay.
Give me real survivalists out there. And I think that would be really fun too, because that's the part of it that I'm like, that's where I'm like, it'd just be fun. It would just be a fun way of playing the game. Like, these people can start fires, they can make
Yeah.
shelter, they are in, and like they're fishing really
You know
well.
what? I
Like,
think you're onto something, because I think that you could break it up where it's like, okay, we have like, and they love to do 3 tribes. So I'm not sure what
Right.
the other thing is. But even if so basically you have like people that are
survivalists,
like
hot husbands,
well, hear me out. So you have survivalists who like, we are survivalists. We don't really know anything about Survivor.
Yes.
And then you have like nerds that are
Right.
like, we know everything about Survivor, but we can't camp for 1 second in our life.
Love it.
I'm not sure if there's a third group you could have. Maybe that's what's that? Hot Housewives.
I mean, by the way, I would love a whole tribe just of married couples. Just it's all married couples.
Third tribe, just like, okay, then they're like married couples that they watch Survivor.
Right. They're interested, but they have to work together, and that's the other part of it too. They have to, like, all of a sudden you're like, why is my husband talking to this other wife on the show? Not that they're going to be doing anything, but it's like, would you vote out your own husband or wife because they're holding down your tribe? I'm in.
Yeah. That could be interesting also. Like, you're gonna work with it, like, are you gonna work with this other couple? We don't really get along with them, or like, I like the husband, but my wife doesn't really get along with the wife.
It's like a dinner. Like, what happened if you were on a boat having a dinner? You were at a table at a dinner party with new people. You were like on a Disney cruise line. It sank.
It starts off at the White Lotus, Fiji. Yeah, that's what it's like. Yeah,
I love it. I think we're finding out stuff. We're finding out stuff. We got secret spies. We got survivalists. We got Marooning. And again, loot crates. I'm going to say it again. Loot crates. Give me some loot crates.
A duffel bag full of clothes. They don't really fit you, but they might fit somebody else.
Wouldn't that be the greatest gift? You would love it. Like, it'd be like, oh, here's it would give you something in the game, because you'd be wanting to find stuff, but not knowing if it's even worth it for you to find. But yet it would be something you could barter with. Because my all-time favorite show, sorry, Rob, I know we probably have to wrap up, but my all-time favorite show, without a doubt, and this may be news to your audience, a little show called Kid Nation, where they let kids
I think
run
like
an old
Pawn Stars. Yes, I know Kid Nation. Sure.
Oh, Kid Nation, a show that could never air again for all the rules that they broke, but they basically just put a bunch of like, I think like 16-year-olds to 9-year-olds in a town, and it's like, run it. And kids are getting burned, and kids are like having to kill animals. It was like an Old West town. It was wild. And if they won a prize, it would be to call their mom.
Yeah.
Like, it was intense.
Yeah. Like, one kid got like the star of the week, and then they got the call home. It's like, I won $10,000.
Kid Nation, probably the best show that you could never make again out there. Oh my God. Yeah. That'd be great.
Okay. One last thing for you. My idea for Survivor 51, and I haven't been able to figure out a way to make it work yet.
Yeah.
I'd love to do Survivor 51, and the theme is Area 51. What do you think for Survivor 51?
I would love it, because look, we're used to what those fields look like. Let's theme them out a little bit more, right? You come in, and it's like, there you put a spaceship in there. You have a little alien guy. I'm down for that.
If Jeff's rapping, we can't have a UFO also.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that was the moment where I was like, this is the victory lap. When Jeff goes, can we get a little bit of a clap? And then he raps, and he looked like he got it in one take. And again, no earwig, no reading off paper. I was like, wow. Like, to have the confidence in yourself and the show to be like, we're going to introduce rapping in. And I was like, are they going to all have to rap? Like, because that was amazing. Yeah. I mean, look, I know they're in Fiji. It's easy. They got their whole production team, everything there, but we could theme it out a little bit. I like Area 51, season 51.
Yeah.
So
I've got all of them for the so Area 51, and then Survivor 50. We get the B-52s. There's a Love Shack somewhere involved in there, right?
Oh my God!
They have something with Rock Lobster, so we have the B-52. And also
that's where
cards.
The new the place where good things happen, in the Love Shack, and you get to, and everyone gets to eat Rock Lobster.
Survivor 54. We have some sort of like a little, maybe for the old heads out there, but like for some sort of Car 54. Where are you?
Wow,
maybe.
We're really going deep. Yeah. All right, I like it, but maybe you're a fan of the reboot with the guys who host MTV Raps. Forget their names, but they did a Car 54.
Jeff is rapping for that. There's some sort of Route 56, like Heinz 57.
I like
there's
Heinz
things
57.
that we can do.
But no, I think that like a fully themed season, or even look, let's start small. Give me a crash landing. Give me something like, again, if we want to go back to my you have an abandoned cargo plane that's crashed and you're doing something around the cargo plane, like give me something to look at. Just don't give me planks and boards and stuff all the time. Give me
there's so much you could do with the Air 51, and maybe have people believers versus not believers.
Oh wait, this is what I realized. You don't tell them it's an Area 51 season. So you start creating, this is where the spy comes in. This is what I kind of want, is you start creating paranormal activity on the island. So the game is going on perfectly. There's nothing wrong with the game. Everything is fine. 3 tribes doing your thing. People getting voted out. But like one night, did you see that? What was that? And then it's like, they see something in the sky. Then they were walking and they're, oh my God, look at this. It's like a crop circle. Yeah. Like it's slow burn. And then it builds to, when the tribes merge, to an alien encounter. And it's, and it's like a guy runs, a man and aliens, it runs through the camp, and to see a little bit of terror. That would be amazing. Yeah. Release a serial killer on the island. Give me something that has gone wrong.
Because you need something. Because it's Survivor, they do the same thing almost every single season. Right. You want something that like fans are like, okay, you know what? I didn't really want to care about Survivor, but I got to see what's going on. They need a hook.
I think it's a good, fun way of playing the game, but adding an extra element on it. That would be, how fun would it be to see the night vision and see a little alien run by a camp? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? What's that? It's like I would. Oh, now. This is the idea. This is the moneymaker, Rob. You got this. You got to get this to Jeff immediately before 51. Probably they probably already shot 52 already. Yeah, we got to get back in there again.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, what should people check out of yours? Of course, I
have some podcasts. You can find me online and all the social media.
What year did you start the podcast?
Oh my gosh, we're about 15 years in.
15 years.
So, in Survivor years, that's 30 seasons. So we started a while ago. How did this get made? And it's a blast. And we talk about bad movies there. Have a podcast where I talk about good movies. Yeah, and it's this. And then every week, my friend Rob Hubel and I, who I did Human Giant with back in the day on MTV, we have a show called The Dark Web, where we just find the weirdest things. And you know what? I've been sitting on it for a very long time. And you talk about it in your book. I have the Jeff Probst like demo reel where he's like dressed as a disco Jeff. And it's been just sitting there. We have not ever brought it on the show.
Yeah, what do you mean you have it? Like
it's online. So I found the clip of, and I just, because I've been fascinated by it, because it's like, oh, right. Jeff was a guy who was trying to be a host. Like like you just think like, oh, Jeff Probst in Survivor. But he was a guy who was like, I'll take anything. So you see him like making his own Survivor tape. Which it's pretty amazing. It's good. It's well done, but it's like his demo reel. It's great. Yeah. Him and I just know he's in a disco shirt, kind of dancing, and the Survivor tape is pretty great.
Yeah. Paul, well, this was incredible. This is such a delight.
What a pleasure. I cannot wait to continue listening to you as you watch the rest of this season, because like I said, this has been a good one. It's been a good one. We're only 3 in, and it feels like so much has happened.
Listen, anytime you want to come back, talk about any of these shows, Survivor, the Traitors, anything.
Let's talk about that normie season, the normie season of normie season of US, which is going to come out on actual real TV. So that'll be interesting. Yeah,
on NBC. So would love that, and I really appreciate you making all this time to talk about all this stuff. And I feel your passion about these things.
They're fun to watch. And here's what I'm going to say to you. I'm going to end with the biggest question. I know that you started off this show, or you started off kind of playing around, like you had hot takes on Star Wars, right? That was a kind of a beginning point for you. You were a Star Wars fan, still a Star Wars fan?
So I used to, like when I first started just like playing with podcasting, that I used to just like call my friends up and just talk about things. And one of the things that we talked about was the Phantom Menace. How did this get made?
Well, now that my question is to you, can you rank the 9 Star Wars? For where do they fall for you right here? Like if you're going to rank your Star Wars,
Okay.
And this is a gut. Like, I'm a big believer in like,
Yeah.
this is your gut. You don't like, you didn't think about it. We're not going to judge you. Like,
Okay.
this is the list that you've made. This is not
You
your
want from
manifesto.
1 to 9 or 9 to 1?
You're.
I think
you're
okay.
yeah.
I think I'm gonna say okay, and I'm gonna be. I'm a purist on
You're right.
on this. So I'd say that the Empire Strikes Back is gonna be number 1, and New
Love it.
Hope is second.
Great.
And then does anything top Return of the Jedi? Like, I guess people really like the eighth one, the
Right.
last Jedi, but
Right.
I don't know if I've ever really rewatched them. I went and I watched them all with my older son. He rewatched them all. But the prequels are so bad they're good.
Right. So like, I guess like, yeah, because this is where it gets
Nobody
muddy, right?
likes
Like
the ninth one. Yeah.
No, the ninth one is trash. But is the ninth one worse than the prequels? I would say yeah. Like my argument is it falls to the bottom of the barrel.
Is 9 out of 9 because there's like nostalgia for the prequels that you sort of like think like, oh, like what is this, like a 50s diner that they're going to, like what is that, what is this about?
I'm a big fan of movies that make a choice, and those movies, the prequels made choices. They didn't agree with them, but they weren't fan service, definitely.
Right. So I think you probably have all 3 of the prequels ahead of like the 9th one. I think that's the 7th one, I think was pretty well received at the time.
I love Last Jedi. The Rian Johnson one, I'm a big fan of. I think.
Well, what was the one? The first of the
the first one was the first one with Daisy Ridley, The Force Awakens, right? Is that
The Force Awakens? Yeah, I think people like that.
So it's basically like you're kind of like you're keeping like The Force Awakens, Last Jedi up higher. We're dropping down. We got the Rise of Skywalker at the very bottom. And we got the prequels, the other ones above that. I will buy that ranking. I just wanted to see if you had a strong
Luke was drinking the blue milk and everything.
Yeah, like I'm a fan. So I just wanted to hear. I didn't know if you were a staunch. I didn't know if you had like a very hot take on it. I'm always curious.
Not super hot take on the Star
I love
Wars.
it. Well, Rob, what a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much, and appreciate everybody checking this one out. We'll be back Wednesday night for our episode 4 recap. Sam Phelan, Survivor 47, is going to join me after the episode. Usually it's Steven, but Steven is he's off with rubbing elbows with the glitterati. He has his book. He's on a tour, so we're checking with Steven later on this week. But Tina Wesson from Survivor the Australian Outback is going to join me on Thursday. And so plenty of Survivor coverage coming your way for Survivor 50, episode 4. Thank you so much, Paul Scheer. And thank you so much for listening. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.